Throw it up anytime.
All right. Well, here I go again, chat. What's my weakness? DFS bargains. I always thought it was Shoop, not Scope, and I haven't really, or Scoop and whatever. But we're back. Oh, my hat's all crooked. There was some panic in the streets. DB's out there in Nashville. I think he was walking by and kicked over the cord and unhooked the one computer that's there, and Ethan's hooked up to the exercise bike trying to keep it going. Yeah, it's a mess. So Cards and I, we're just going to kick it old school. We left off with Shoopy, Scope, whatever. Let's just jump right on into, we got 20 minutes left. Let's roll right with shortstops here. Lowry, yes. Hanley, out. And, yeah, that's about it for me. It looks like I'm going with Lowry. Gannett, where you can play him. Ian Desmond, righty, gets a lot of home runs against that. I don't mind him going against Charlie Morton. And the man, myth, and legend, I'm hoping he's in the lineup tonight, Cards, because he is damn underpriced. He's cheap like me.
Who?
J.J. Hardy, come on, the Hardy boy.
I just can't quit J.J. Hardy. He still doesn't have any home runs, but they're facing another lefty tonight, so maybe tonight's the night. One of these nights, I'm going to be right. J.J. Hardy is going to hit a home run this season. It's just a matter of when. So I've got to stick to my punts, though. Again, there's a punt at every position. Your punt at shortstop tonight is Justin Sellers for Cleveland, 2,200 on DraftKings. He's batting 8th, I believe, or 9th, maybe. I don't know. But there's a punt available at shortstop if you want to go there, along with the Dodgers guy that I can't pronounce. That's 2K. He's also shortstop eligible. So those two guys, they're in play if you need a punt. Along with Andrelton Simmons, I think he might be a decent punt as well. You mentioned Hardy. He's 3,500. I believe he's in play. Probably a better served play for GPPs because, again, he hasn't homered this year, so don't hold your breath. I also like Owings for Arizona batting second tonight against Bartolo Colon if the weather's not a concern there. Unfortunately, since we're old school now, that severely drains the internet resources available for me to check weather.com. I'll still try to check it before the end of the show. The last time
I'm actually plugged into the router, so as we get towards the end, I'll risk it and I'll try to call that up.
The last I looked, I think the Mets looked a little more worrisome than the Phillies game. But again, keep your eye on that if you're going to roster one of those guys. Let's see. Lowry definitely going to be one of the most popular options tonight. Don't mind Johnny Peralta against Homer Bailey if you want to go that route. But for my money, I'm really not spending on any of the top options, like, say, above 4K on DraftKings. I just don't like the matchups for too many of those guys tonight. Hanley Ramirez isn't playing. D. Gordon you can roster at second base if you want to play him. So I think shortstop's a position to save. Heck, you can even roster Derek Jeter tonight. I know he's the only Yankee right-handed bat that's in there against Noesi, but Noesi struggles against righties too. It's just like 30 to 40 points exaggerated against lefties. So righties still hit 260, 270 against them. So you can take old man Jeter if you want to tonight as well. He can still hit a couple doubles or take a walk and score a few runs tonight. So he's a serviceable mid-range guy because of the matchup tonight.
All right, super duper pump play. Clint Barnes with an M, not an N. That's okay. I still call him Barnes, like close the barn door. All right, no more shortstops. There's a boatload of outfielders going on here. I don't even know where to start. Oh yes, I do. Yasiel Puig.
There's third baseman too, EMac.
I don't care. I'm sad. You know why I'm sad about third base?
Why are you sad about third base?
Because Evan Longoria has forgotten how to hit extra base hits. Frustrating the hell out of
Even against lefties, yeah, it's strange.
All right, well, see, I got all excited. I do have all my third basemen here. I just turned the page a little too early. That was my Bob Seeger, Kyle Seeger nod to no longer having a lefty. See what I did there, Cards? I transitioned, segued back to third base.
Who's the punt? You can take the punt. Take the punt. Who's the punt?
Oh, I don't know. Someone's deciding to call me right now. So,
all right, I'll take the race.
It's Dan Buck. Why don't you take it away for a second here?
All right, third base. I think the best option of the night, actually, I think the punt play is Chisenhall. 2,900 on DraftKings. He's a solid option. Batting cleanup for the Indians against Bud Norris. I think you'll see him as the most highly owned third baseman tonight. Can't beat that $2,900 price tag on DraftKings. So Chisenhall, I think, is going to be a guy that's highly owned across the industry tonight. I think he's in play for cash games, GPPs, wherever you want to use them. If you want to play the BVP card at third base tonight, Matt Carpenter's your guy. 591 career average against Homer Bailey. I believe 13 for 22, something like that, 13 for 23 is Matt Carpenter's BVP. You mentioned the Cardinals hit Homer Bailey pretty well. You can still find him at a very reasonable price tag on a lot of sites, so I like him where you can get him at a reasonable tag. And then a couple mid-range options I like. I like Solarte. Obviously, I like all those Yankee bats tonight, so I think Solarte is definitely in play for the Yankees this evening. And I think Pablo Sandoval, he's swinging the bat as well as he has all season long this year, in the past week or so. Almost homered yesterday, but it was just foul. And he's still $2,900 on FanDuel, an incredible bargain there for Pablo Sandoval. 4K on DraftKings, I still think he's in play, but I'd probably rather go with a guy like Carpenter or Solarte for the price. EMac, did you get things squared away with DB?
I did. Apparently, the entire internet is down at the Roto Grinders headquarters. My power extends west to Nashville. Look at that. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
It is. This only happens with me. All right. Sorry, I was talking with Dan there, so I kind of missed it. We were
Chisenhall. All the Chisenhall.
All the Chisenhall. He's incredibly cheap. There's your DraftKings plays. Oh, damn it. I don't like the what? Sorry, Mom, if you're watching, I'll put a quarter in the jar. I'm not a fan of the weather going on in Arizona, so that's going to remove Eric Chavez. I don't know if he's in the lineup or not. Danny Valencia, did you mention him? With Moose Taco.
I did not, but I think he's a solid play, yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Solarte, where he's third base eligible, a couple sites have him out in second base. I really like him. And so even though I ignored third baseman, I guess I did have a couple options there. Oh, one guy I want to ask you about, Pedro Alvarez. I'm just sensing a home run against Ryan Zimmerman.
Ryan Zimmerman's pitching?
Jordan Zimmerman. Well, Ryan Zimmerman would be giving up a home run. Jordan Zimmerman.
I don't think Ryan Zimmerman, this is a terrible joke, but I don't think Ryan Zimmerman can get the ball over the plate.
That is not funny. That's why he's going to be a first baseman very, very soon.
Yeah, he's got the throwsies or whatever, the yips, whatever you call that. The Chuck Knoblauchs has hit Ryan Zimmerman.
I don't even think it's that. I think he's got a bad shoulder, and he can't throw across his body anymore, and he can't control it because it hurts too much. That's my hope, because I'd rather have him have that and go to first base than have the Knoblauchs. The Knoblauchs are not good.
Yeah, you got to wear a shield in the stands if he's got the Knoblauchs. But, I don't know. GPP only for sure. I never get him right, so I never take him.
All right. I'm having flashbacks of. I like Zimmerman. He's an awesome pitcher, but Pedro, we haven't heard from him in a while. It's been over a year since he had a multi-home run game.
It's probably against the Cardinals. I remember him hitting a 3-homer game against the Cardinals. Probably was his last multi-homer game.
The 3-homer game would have been 2 years. Yeah, it's been a while. So he's due. Al Smizzle, talk to us. Put a little thesis in the chat about being due. All right, now we're going to talk about outfielders, of which we have a bunch, of which I let the little cat out of the jar, or the bag, or the secret, or I don't know. Just go with Yasiel Puig.
You like Yasiel tonight?
I guess I need 2 others, don't I, on most sites?
You can't put him in all 3 spots.
The Bugs Bunny All-Stars? Well, let's go with his buddy then, Andre Ethier, who still has some value when he's got the platoon splits in his favor. I don't mind him at all. He's got a 360 WOBA going on, although it pales in comparison to Puig's situational 411 WOBA. Jason Worth. Why is he overlooked against righties cards? 21 home runs since 2013 against right-handed pitching.
Yeah, I've written him up a couple times this week in my incentive stuff, but he's relatively cheap compared to the other elite guys out there, so I think he's a great option tonight. Again, Morton's winless. That's a little bit deceiving. I mean, a lot of it's been a lack of run support and some poor defense. Morton's peripherals aren't that bad, but I like Worth tonight. And, another guy that I think will be highly owned And we talked about him a little bit right before the show. But Jay Bruce back off the DL, batting cleanup for the Reds tonight. 3,500 on DraftKings. You can't really beat that price on a guy like Jay Bruce.
Not at all. And it just kind of has the feel of a home run or a nice warning track double or just something crazy, since he's probably got a little bit of pent-up energy from being on the DL. I noticed he wasn't on every site. I got real excited. I had actually thought he was back a day or two ago. Apparently not. But he is in DraftKings. He's very cheap. I don't think he's on FanDuel. There might be one other site that I couldn't find him on. Denard Span, he of the 5-for-5 ball game. He's had himself one heck of a week. 31 at-bats, 12 hits, 4 extra base hits for him. 2 doubles and a home run. Not bad. Not bad at all. I don't mind him today. Yoenis Cespedes? We don't have time for me to goof around.
Close enough.
We don't. I could go into a whole little routine. We're going to save that for another day. But Cespedes, definitely. Any other outfielders? What do you think about Coco Crisp tonight?
Oh, I think the A's guys are all in play. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of people on them. I think the Tigers outfielders are in play. Rajai Davis is leading off. Torrey Hunter and Austin Jackson, I think, make fine plays against Scott Baker. I'm calling a breakout game for Ellsbury tonight. I know he hasn't been doing much, but he's still hitting third. And if you can't hit this guy tonight, then maybe it's time to be concerned about him a little bit. But I think you're going to see a huge game from Jacoby Ellsbury. I plastered him on the face of my Daily Plays article today. I know it's pretty clear by now that I like the Yankees tonight, but Ellsbury's just so talented for the price that he's at everywhere and the matchup he has tonight. I think it's a great night to take a shot on him. I'm not going to go out on the limb and predict a homer like Dean did yesterday, or not Dean, but I'm blanking on Stevie predicted yesterday with Mike Olt. And took a lot of crap for it today. So I'm not going to go out and say that Ellsbury's going to, homer tonight. But if he gets on, he can certainly steal. He's got upside, and he can hit the occasional bomb. So I love Ellsbury. I think he's probably my top overall play. Probably the guy I've got the most exposure to, along with Bruce.
Yeah, 4,800 though just seems a little. I don't know, a little pricey.
But it's everybody's bumped. Like Mike Trout's 6K now and Miggy's 6K. They were 5K a couple weeks ago.
I guess I haven't looked that far up because I was going on the 12K pitchers. But I've got Ellsbury's on every FanDuel lineup of mine tonight. 3,600 there. Yeah. What do you think of? No, we're not going to go there. All right.
Do it.
No, I can't. Well, okay. If the weather wasn't bad, what would you say about Curtis Granderson?
No, I think he's fine against. He's tearing the cover off the ball this month. Yeah, I don't see a problem with him, especially for GPPs. I'm remiss if I don't mention the punts. Sean Figgins, 2,200 on DraftKings, batting second for the Dodgers again tonight. I know he's old and not the player he once was, but he's 2,200. He's batting second. So Sean Figgins, I think, is a fine punt. If you want to go there. And Romero is, I believe, batting second for the Mariners, one of my favorite cheap bats of theirs to take against left-handed pitching because Houston's called up that lefty to start tonight. Romero's got the 2 spot, so those are my 2 cheap outfield plays, Figgins and Romero. And I like Gardner as well. I mean, I mentioned Ellsbury. Gardner's basically the same price, even a little more expensive on some sites. But he's the head car of that Yankees train tonight, so certainly think that he could be worth paying up for. And as opposed to Ellsbury, he's actually swinging a really hot bat right now. So Gardner in that leadoff spot, also good position tonight. I like the Yankees, if I haven't mentioned that already.
So you have the Yankees here, and then the Pirates way down there. Okay. I just rolled the dice with the weather. I am not playing anybody from that Arizona-New York game.
I'm probably going to be on the same bandwagon there by the time we get off the show. It doesn't look pretty, and I don't think you're missing, certainly not the pitchers, Colon and Anderson. I didn't mind the stacks of those 2 teams at the start of the day, but I really don't think it's worth it now. A little bit too risky to be rolling those 2 teams out there. So I think I'm going to be with you and avoiding that Arizona Mets game. I still think the radar looks okay for that Philly game. It does worry me with Kershaw slightly. That one I'm probably going to take right up really close to first pitch. Luckily, that game does start at 7:10, so we'll know what the radar looks like right when the game's about to start. So that one I'm going to take more up towards the start time, but I think I am going to be off the Mets game.
All right, so let's see. I'm just setting up the weather channel here to see what it will do. It takes a little while to load. I hate Google Hangouts. We've got a little baby visiting us who's about 4 weeks old who's testing his lungs. He's doing a very good job. I can hear him from 2 floors away. Yelich, Stanton. Stanton's pricey. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on him. I like him. Holiday, Craig. I'm sad John Jay is not in the lineup. And then I had one more on. Oh, the Detroit outfield. Cards,
yeah.
Why do people ignore the Detroit outfield in the righty-righty matchups?
I don't know. I mean, there's always so many outfielders to target. I think a lot of times those outfielders get overshadowed by Martinez and Kinsler and Miggy, the big three there. So I think a lot of times they get ignored, but I agree with you. I think that's sometimes a mistake. I also really like Castellanos. He's got power, and he's cheap. So, especially if you're trying to get a few Detroit bats in there, they're also expensive. Castellanos is cheap, so you can put him in as part of a Detroit stack or even on his own. Multi-position eligible on DraftKings is also a nice little boost for him.
Alrighty, let's see. I'm calling up a rapid-fire chat. Throw in some questions. We got 6 minutes left. We have a boatload of lineups to change with JSO and some of those other adjustments, so we'll be getting off air promptly. But quickly, while we have it, this is actually, they're going deluxe on us tonight, Cards. Are you ready? This will answer half the questions before they even get into chat.
I'm ready. We're usually, the past 6 months, we've run pretty well in total at this, so hopefully we can keep the momentum going here.
You know what? That's true. We really have. I have a couple onesies and twosies with Bills, so you need to shake the magic up here again, or let me ride your coattails. Either way, I'm all in. Clayton Kershaw or Felix Hernandez? Here is your decision point.
Yeah, with the weather concerns, I'll give the edge to Hernandez. Plus, I think he's a little bit safer and a better bet for a win pitching at home against Houston as opposed to Kershaw on the road. So Hernandez gets the slight edge for me. It's close, but with the weather and the home road thing, that's got to be the tiebreaker.
Exactly, and that's where I'm landing. I've got more or less an equal split of them right down the line in my cash games, but for this, if I got to pick it right on the head of the pin, the tip of the sword, I'm going to go with Felix. Robinson Cano or Giancarlo Stanton? I'm going to go with Stanton.
I'll take Stanton, especially with Cano now facing a left-hander.
All right. Matt Holliday or Brandon Moss? We got to go with Moss, don't we?
I think that's in there as bait. Holliday has really, really good numbers against Homer Bailey. But Moss, I mean, there's no argument against Moss tonight. He could have a random 0-for-4 game, sure, just as much as the next guy. But if we're just talking those two guys level up, yes, you have to take Moss.
Okay, but let's talk about it in this particular context, because lest we forget, baseball is a little different than the basketball one. You got to also consider floors in the rapid fire for baseball, and you mentioning the 0-for-4 potential. I mean, everybody can go 0-for-4, but I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Holiday now.
I think it's really close. That's why I said I think they might have that in there as bait, knowing full well that there's no doubt the voting on that one is probably, what would you say, 90% Moss at least?
I'm going to go with Holiday since I have Moss on every cash lineup. I'm not playing Moss as much in GPPs at all tonight. I'm going for the zigzag. But
yeah, I think
this
that's
one,
a fun strange.
I mean, this you're playing against the house more or less, but let's go with floor. Because, hey, if Moss goes off, I'm not going to be sad. So,
yeah, and Holiday. I mean, Holiday's numbers I think is above 300, maybe a 333 average with like 8 extra base hits out of 13 total hits against Bailey. So.
Let's see. Nelson Cruz, who absolutely destroys lefties, and we have.
He's probably going to be the answer before you even tell me who's on the other side.
Evan Longoria, who forgot how to hit extra base hits.
I'll take him.
All right, and then lastly, circling the wagons on this, we have Christian Yelich and Rajai Davis. I'm going Yelich.
That's interesting. That's a good one. Davis is leading off for the Tigers. I'd probably lean towards him tonight. I think they're in a good spot against Baker. I think that one's pretty close, but I'll take Davis there.
Well, I've always think of him as batting ninth because that's normally where he is. They have 1, 2, 3, switch hitter 4, 5, 6. Wow, they're going really. Why are they going so righty? Well, Baker sucks. So
Yeah, I need to look. I haven't looked too close at Baker's splits, but there might be something
it
there.
might be a little bit reverse, or they're going to be close. He's just not a good pitcher. Yeah, he played for Minnesota. What do you know? Chat, we're going to be smart. Since I'm on the schneid, we're going to go with Rajai Davis. We're going to listen to cards. We'll go 22 to win 40 because I need to break the losing streak on that. Let's see. Let's see if they're. Oh, we didn't. Okay, I'm going to throw a few questions out there while we finish up in our last 3 minutes cards. Joey Bats, we did not mention him. I don't know that we mentioned.
I think he's all right. Wait, who was the second one?
Oh no. This is chat questions. Just guys we didn't talk about because we were off air for so long. Joey Bats. I don't know that we mentioned Adam Jones. If you have any thoughts on.
Oh, Adam Jones. Yeah, I didn't hear the second person that you mentioned there. I think Adam Jones is fine. I mean, I think the Orioles bats are in a solid spot against the fill-in starter for the Indians tonight. So I like him. I'm not as big a fan of Bautista tonight. Casimir can be unhittable at times. He struggles with his control. But it's not often that he gets, touched up for 12 hits or something like that. Usually when Casimir has a poor game, it's because he has 5 or 6 walks. And I don't think you're going to see a huge point total out of Bautista unless he hits a home run. And banking on that, not something I normally do, especially for a guy of his price tag. So I would take pretty much anybody else in the realm of elite outfielders over him tonight. Like a guy like Puig, a guy like Ellsbury, even a guy like Andrew McCutchen. I like all those guys a little bit better than I do Bautista tonight.
Okay, let's see here. I can tell my computer is dragging so bad with all the windows open. We'll throw a couple out. Josh Reddick, we didn't mention him. Him or Coco?
I definitely take Coco leading off. I think Reddick only makes sense as part of an Oakland stack. He's too boom or bust for cash games or anything other than that.
Crush Davis or Ortiz?
Not touching Davis tonight. Like I said, with the lefty-lefty, he looked terrible last night, and if the rumor is true about his wife possibly going into labor, a much safer pick in Ortiz against an inconsistent pitcher in Chris Archer.
All right, the Chuckler says, Detroit, we don't have lefty bats. All right, we're going to go with the hometown fave there. He says Rajai, we go Rajai. Let's see, Molina's game logs, we don't care. E5, what do you think about Edwin Encarnacion? 2 home runs.
He's been on fire. Yeah, 2 home runs is his floor. Again, I'm not on a ton of the Oakland bats or the Toronto bats against Casimir, but I can see the logic in it if you want to go that route. I'd like him more than Bautista if you're choosing between an elite Toronto bat.
All right, we're going to run through some overlay. So in your mind, think of anybody stacking besides New York and Oakland. We're going to go chat about that in a second after I read this. We have the Silver Slugger. There's 5 spots left. If you're rich like Cards, you might want to pick some of that up. Cards, am I seeing you play like 2 or 3 in that $1,000 one on DraftKings? Are you just what do they call that when you bully people with the stack? I don't play poker, but I think that's what you're doing.
The big stack bully?
Yeah, something like that.
You want to guess who I'm stacking in that tournament tonight? You probably know if you watch the show. Is probably figure out who I've got in that tournament tonight.
The Yankees. It's always
I've got some Yankees in there tonight.
Absolutely. Wow, so I'm not seeing as much overlay as I thought. Well, my computer's incredibly slow. Looks like there's about 30% overlay across most of the GPPs. That'll probably drop down to close to 10%. But if we look at, oh, now I've got baseball showing up. I hate the Google Hangouts, man.
I got it. I pulled it up on my phone. So the $200 perfect game is the $200 perfect game is 412 out of 555, so some spots left in that. I guess that probably gets to about 500 or fairly close to filling. They've got the $1,000 Fantasy Baseball Championship qualifier tonight. That has a few spots left in it. You mentioned the Silver Slugger has 5 spots open. The $12 check swing has about 150 spots left. So you're seeing the tournaments are probably, I'd say most of them get to a pretty close to filling tonight. Also, a couple showcase qualifiers at $27 and $200. So basically, whatever kind of format you like is available on DraftKings right now, and they all still have some spots open. So you've got a half an hour to get in those, and I'll just do my sign off for the night here, and I'll let you take us home. But good luck tonight, everybody. Should be a fun, high-scoring night, and hopefully we can help you make some money out there.
All right, Grinders. Well, as we mentioned before, you kind of got the bookend. If you woke up with me listening to the podcast, not going to bed yet, but I'm going to close off the day for us. Thank you, DraftKings, for sponsoring the show. Thank you, Roto-Grinders. Thank you, Dan Bach, for tripping over the cord at Roto-Grinders headquarters, shutting down the whole internet. Or it's just actually my power of shutting down anything technologically advanced. But with that, we would like to say good luck, Grinders. There are 2 shows tomorrow. There is an early show. That is with Louis Cards and Warren. And then there's a later show. I believe it is with you, STL, and Boggs Light is my guess.
Yeah, I think that's the pairing tomorrow.
All right. And now I'm just, I can't find the little window that's still open with our show. There it is. With that, we're going to say good night, Grinders, and we will see you